So communications in M&A integration. First, we need to understand why we've done the deal. So a clear vision or strategy explanation as to why we've bought the company, which we can explain to both our people and the target, as well as shareholders and other stakeholders. So a clear, very short, understandable story and explanation. Then we need to be thinking about how we're going to brief the board and agree the content for briefing the board, as well as other people. We do our stakeholder analysis, but we've essentially got the same understanding and content, just different for different audiences. So what's our engagement plan? What's our high-level communications plan? How does that fit with our strategy and our integration plan and the deal? Next, we think about briefing the CEO. So we need a script for the CEO and a presentation. Are we going out to shareholders? Are we listed? Are we going out to employees or colleagues in various different locations? Are we going to do it online if it's a large global thing? Can we use other executives in the briefing on the first day, and how are we going to do that? So planning where people are going to be, what they're going to be doing, and preparing the comms materials and content to go with that well in advance of day one. So then communication plans and planning, high-level guidelines around what we're going to do. So usually a Word document with a page or 2 pages of the high-level overarching communication themes, and we can then take that and use that in all our presentations and all our comms. So that's a very helpful document to think about. And then thinking about how we're going to present that content out to various different audiences and when. So then also thinking about feedback. So we pump out information and communications around why we're doing the deal and what we're doing on integration and how it all moves forward. But it's not always the case that we get everything right. So feedback mechanism from all of our stakeholders is very, very helpful and very useful. Firstly, in understanding how people feel. Secondly, in understanding what's going on. And thirdly, if there are 1 or 2 areas where we're not doing everything perfectly, which is always the case, feedback is always very, very helpful. And so I always look at all of the feedback that comes in on all of my projects. And whilst some of it is not particularly helpful or useful, we do need to address all of it and potentially answer all of it over certain periods of time. But there are golden nuggets in there of things that we're actually doing wrong and need to change, and we can move out into business units or regions and fix those problems that we're being told about. So very important that we set up and understand good feedback mechanisms across our whole deal, both pre-deal and post-deal throughout the integration. Continuing with our communications tool set, we're then going to create a briefing pack for our managers. So a Q&A management pack. So what questions might managers be asked by employees, customers, the press, and what might our standard answers be? So if an employee comes and asks a question to one executive, they might well ask a similar question to another. If we don't have a good answer, then they might think we're lying. If we differ in answers a great deal, then again, they'll think we're lying. So we need to really have a consistent answer. And this comes really as a problem when people and management teams aren't prepared. So just thinking about how people view us when we're not prepared well and prepared enough. So just understanding the questions. I've got an 8-page document. There's typical questions people ask, and we can have some standardized answers that we circulate around the management team. And quite regularly, we actually just share most of those Q&As with all of our employees. On a number of deals, I've just sent those out to everybody so they can see that. And that's a much more open and easy way to do it. So then thinking about the messages that need to go out to various different managers as we go down the organization and how we're going to ramp our communications out down the organization. We fully understand our channels in the acquirer, but we don't necessarily pre-deal have a good understanding of the channels and the way communications are done in the target and how we're going to utilize those to get our messages through. We obviously need to think about customer communications. So thinking on day one, and then after that, meetings we need to have. So I have a little pyramid where we have the CEO going off and talking to very important customers, government relations, whatever it might be. And then as we ramp down the organization, we've got sales executives, sales managers, MDs of countries and divisions and business units going to meet certain customers, down to salespeople, and then telemarketing or just a phone call or letters. So really segmenting all of our customers and understanding how we want to communicate them, and remembering that this is, firstly, we've got change of control discussions and communications, but secondly, this is an opportunity to explain our company to our new clients and to start kicking off the idea around cross-sell and upsell. So here are the new products and services we're going to be providing, and preparing them for further communications. We then got communications to our employees or colleagues, thinking about colleague letters and how we're going to discuss communications with our people, both acquire and target. We might have emails or letters or communications with various different suppliers. Are there novations of supplier contracts over to a new company? So how do the communications work? Is it quite a formal legal process, or more, well, a different sort of process? So and then thinking obviously about groups of people that is very difficult to communicate with. So if I think of deals I've done in manufacturing sectors, we've got people in plants, oil rigs, chemical plants, manufacturing plants that may not have email addresses within the company. They might have computers, they're not desk staff. And so how are we going to effectively communicate to those people, firstly on day one, especially if we've got shifts. I did a very large tech deal where we had 24-hour-a-day shift patterns. And certainly how are we going to approach those people and discuss our communications and then communicate with them over a period of days, weeks, months with our communications plans. So thinking about how that currently works and how that might work through changes. Hi, I'm Danny Davis. I help plan and run the European side of a $6 billion deal. That's 30 work streams across 30 countries. I've been a guest speaker at London Business School for more than 2 decades on the topic of M&A integration. And I wrote the book, M&A Integration, How to Do It. You can find it on Amazon if you want. Here's my email, phone number. Give me a call, send me an email. Always happy to chew the fat.